you just have Gray Flick as your removal card. So you have no environment, no bonus attack, no removal, no actual win condition, and you're running 3 Bamboozle. Okay, never mind. Might as well have been OTK Weenie Beanie. That's what I'm talking about. What's going on, everybody? This is Fry. So today I'm finally going to be rating the strategy decks, and what better way to do it than putting them on this tier list. Now here's the story. I'm going to be going through these decks and actually reviewing them one by one. I know sometimes like during the live streams I'll review people's decks. I don't really have like a way of showing everyone what exactly I'm saying. So not only am I going to be rating these strategy decks and criticizing some of them, because some of them are god awful, but this should also hopefully be educational in terms of how to build a deck, and maybe I'm going to be pointing out some of the common mistakes that people make when they make decks and things that you really should be consider overall in deck building. Also, there are 5 strategy decks per hero, and there's 22 heroes, so that is 110 decks total, which is obviously way too much to do in one stream. So I'm actually going to be splitting this into a 4-part series. There's going to be the, and thank you so much for someone for subscribing there, I missed it. Oh my god. There is going to be 2 parts for the plants and 2 parts for the zombies. So today I'm going to be going right across the top. We're going to be starting with Green Shadow, Wall Knight, Spadal, Grass Knuckles, Rose. And next time I will do the remaining 6 plant heroes, and then I'm going to do 2 parts for the zombies. So today we have 25 decks to rate, so I hope you guys enjoy. Let's just get right into it. Let's go. So we're going to be starting off with Easy Peasy. It looks like a pea green shadow deck. Alright, let's see what we're working with here. Okay, first of all, the first thing that pops out to me in this deck is that it's on so many lines. Let me explain something fundamental about deck building. I have this sort of OCD where I like my deck to be on 3 lines, and usually that's the best way to go, because cards, besides for synergizing with themselves, typically synergize with each other. Having several, let's say, black eyed peas is very often better than having only 1 or 2, because then it works better with the Torchwoods. Having more Torchwoods works more with your peas. So the little one-ofs I feel like is typically a mistake. I guess if you have a limited card collection, that's what you go with. But alright, let's look what's happening in this deck. Alright, so you have, anyway, this is a pretty below average card. I would definitely be running Click P or even Bong Choi. This I just find was good in set 1, but there's so many ways of removing it. It's just a little bit too slow. I feel like this got power creep big time. Alright, the 2s are okay. I don't know why you're running Snow Pea instead of just more Flaming Peas. The stats are better than the 2-2, which dies to Weed Spray and just doesn't do as much damage. Oh man. So we're running 1 Sweet Pea, 1 Cosmic Pea out of nowhere, 1 Fertilize, 1 Flourish, which is not a good card. I don't even like running Repeater. I would say this deck is probably built around the Podfather, but that's not really a good card. The card you want to be building P decks around is actually Gatling P and making it an aggro deck. You can check out Aggro Green Shadow if you want to see more of that. Okay, you got 1 Sky Shooter, 1 B-Rex, 1 Onion Rings. So the main thing is just the 1-ofs, and you're running 4 copies of 3 Peter, which again really is not a very good card in a P deck. Unleash the power of your Ps. Torchwood and 3 Peter work well together. The reason this is not a good combo is because it's a turn 6 combo, and on turn 6 they'll have a way of dealing with a 0-3. I mean, you're putting, or even on turn 5 if your Torchwood somehow survived turn 4. They'll definitely be able to deal with it on turn 5. So using Bananas or Strex and Podfighter to finish them off, but there's only 1 of each. Finish them off with bonus attacks. So just absolutely stupid strategy. Man, this deck sucks. There's just not enough good cards, and the whole strategy is backwards, just overall because of the mediocre cards, the 1-ofs, not enough finishers, no plant food, which every single Megro deck has to have. This is going in D tier. I mean, I think this deck could probably win some games, but this is completely off. Next, we're going to be going on to Mean Beans. Oh, here we go. Alright, so it's going to be like a almost cycle green shadow, where you have the Weenie Beanie, you have the Admiral Navy Bean and 2 Planet of the Grapes. Okay, I guess that's fine. The Mean Bean machine just got an upgrade. When Admiral Navy Bean visits the Planet of the Grapes, every bean you play is 1 in the bank. It'll draw cards. Okay. It's running Black IP, which is fine. This is fine. These are all decent cards. Even the Moonbeam is fine. The mistake is running Mayflower in a bean deck. This is not a bean, and the chances of it even conjuring anything is small. Conjuring a bean is even smaller, and that bean being playable is even smaller than that. It's a horrible idea. Bean counter. I would just run more jelly beans, more jumping, and the 4th onion ring. You could probably play this deck like an onion rings deck. And you have an espresso fiesta instead of plant food. Great. There's like not enough amphibious minions to justify Navy Bean 2. There's just the Mayflowers and Admiral Navy Bean, and that's it. So really this is so just mediocre. It's definitely better than the other one, but I'll put this in C. This deck is crap. Next, Winter Melon is coming. Imagine basing a deck around Winter Melon. There's actually only 3 Winter Melons. Look at this freeze deck though. So you got your Ice Age Baby combo. I don't really like running Snow Pea in a freeze deck, but don't know if you're running 1, I'm not going to yell at you. Got Captain Cucumber. Black IP is just fine overall for a 2-drop. It's definitely better than running more of these. I don't know why Cosmic. There's just usually a couple of just really dumb cards. And why is Cosmic Bean in this deck? But anyway, 4 Winter Squash, 4 Jolly Holly. I can't argue with the Snapdragon. I like the Cool Beans. This environment is not very good, and there's no bonus attack. The main thing is there's no bonus attack. This deck actually is not half bad. Brainana doesn't hurt. The main problem is the complete lack of bonus attacks and environments. You need a way once you buff up your Ice Age Baby to finish them off. And these just get rid of the Cosmic Beans, the Snow Pea, and probably this environment, and just add in some bonus attacks. I think then it's okay. Like some plant food. This actually is not a bad deck at all. I can't say this is top tier by any stretch because there's some really dumb stuff in it, but I'll put this in B. I think this is actually a decent. B's being B means it's good. That's gonna be a high tier. I don't know if there's gonna be anything up here in S. If we find a perfectly made deck, I'll give it S. You know. All right, next. Oh, how does the rarity of the deck go in terms of how good it is? So far, there's been a correlation. You know, I mean, easy peasy D got 2 stars and 3 stars. So we'll see how that goes. In my opinion, and we'll see these as they come along. The last one, the one that they created for Triassic, I believe, is Sow the Seeds, and like I don't even know what color this is. I'm colorblind. The red one. These ones are usually they just finish for me. really bad. So we'll see what happens. This is like the one they added like with Galacta set. Shooting Starfruit can cause devastating damage in every lane. When combined with Lily of the Valley and Onion Rings, that becomes powerful. Okay. Ooh, this deck doesn't look too bad. I love the Onion Rings Shooting Starfruit combo. You got a lot of little 1-drops. I don't really know about these Cosmic Beans again, but I guess it can stall for time, and it's pretty good team up when you have the Onion Rings. You got your plant foods finally in this deck. Damn, this deck doesn't look bad. Got your card draw. Again, not a huge fan of Lily of the Valley, but I don't think it's that bad. I have no idea why Laser Cattail's in this deck. Like, it's not helping you stall. It's not particularly good with Onion Rings. I don't get it. You should just run some more 1-drops, for sure. Like, get rid of the 4 Cattails and put in 2 more Bonks and 2 more of these. Grow Shroom? Like, why is that in this deck? I don't mind the Cucumber. This Snakes is just so random, too. Just snakes out of nowhere. There's such stupid stuff. I think this deck could actually win a lot of games, though. I wonder if I'm going to put this in A. It's not bad, it's just dumb. I'm putting this in B. I can't really put this in A, just because there's way too much dumb stuff happening in this deck for this to be an A tier. I do think this could probably win a decent amount of games, though, with the Onion Rings. You don't really have any card draw, though. Like, I'd rather run some more conventional, like even Flourish would probably be better than Cosmic Bean. Anyway, this is not an A tier deck. That's a B. Solid. B's solid, though. B means it's really good. Okay, oh no. Sow the Seeds. Is this going to be a deck around Sow Magic Beans? Okay. Okay, you know what I'm talking about? Shuffle tons of special cards in your deck until it's packed with power. Magic Beanstalks, Click Peas galore. Meanwhile, card drawing and conjuring make your dinosaurs roar. How do you draw cards in this deck? Bamboozle? So, you start off with your Click Pea. There's Umbrella Leaf in this deck. You got 1 Burb. Like, your dinosaur is supposed to win? The bean? Oh my gosh. Why are you running 3 bamboozles in a deck? Like, you know how many 6s you have? How many 2s do you have? How many 6s do you have? Just look at it. Oh my gosh, this is such cringe. Oh man, I you know what? I don't know if I can put this in F tier quite, because I bet out of 10 games you could probably win a couple with this. No, but you have no bonus attacks. No, you have no bonus attacks. You have Bananasaurus Rex. Yeah. Potatosaurus. You have no removal. You just have Gray Flick as your removal card. So you have no environment, no bonus attacks, no removal, no actual win condition, and you're running 3 bamboos. Okay, never mind. Might as well have been OTK Weenie Beanie. That's what I'm talking about. Next. Jeez. Alright, we're going on to Walnut. Hopefully Walnut will be a little better. It's Pepper Power. Ooh, can't go wrong with a heal deck. Or can you? Alright, use lots of healing. Buff your pep to buff. What the heck happened? Buff your Pepper MD. I'm getting blue screen of death on my phone. This is taking technical problems to a whole new level. Use a lot of healing to buff your Pepper Power. Should I have the name of the deck in the screen? Maybe I should. Is that way better? Okay, that's what we're going with. Right. Maybe I'll make my camera a little bit smaller too. There. Such a big Jew. Alright, so you have Walnut for some reason. You have a little combo. It's kind of nice having your decoy spikeweed sectors for the Venus flytraps. I think that's fine. Hardchuck really puts a choke on the enemy. Yeah, running a heal deck with Venus flytrap combo but no little buddies. It could be, I don't know which sets all these cards came out in, but it could be that's the reason why. So you got control, got your heals. This deck really needs little buddy. You have heal. Power Flyer is not really a good heal card. Just running a bunch of random cards. I guess you can use this as control. It also has Shamrocket, 3-headed Chomper, finisher. This deck isn't that bad, to be honest. Really not bad. There's just a lot of really dumb stuff in this deck, and you're missing Little Buddy, which this deck really needs, and Poppin' Poppies, which this deck really needs. I think Poppin' Poppies also used to not heal. This is probably like an early... Are all the cards from like set 1 and set 2? When did this come out? Galactic. See, I think this came out like during the Galactic set, so there were a lot of cards like Little Buddy that weren't even out yet. So as a that can sit, and that was also before Poppin' Poppies, you know, healed anything. He used to just make little flowers that didn't heal. That's considered. This deck is fine. I wonder if I'm gonna give it extra points because it was I probably in the Galactic set would have actually given this A. I'm gonna give this B because I do think this could win a really decent amount of games. I think the Power Flowers are kind of a dumb idea. It's just too slow. It doesn't heal enough, but all things considered, I think this is a nice solid B tier deck. It's not bad. Alright, next is This Is Nuts. Uh-oh. Mirror Nuts, Macadamia, and their Nut Pails go to work in the strategy deck that brings Walnut Bowling in for the truly nutty finishing move. I'm putting this in F tier just for that intro. Anyway, you got Forget Me Nuts, Photosynthesizer, decent cards. You know, I like running Triceratops instead of the Juggernaut even in a nut deck, but I guess I can hear the argument. You're running only one Primal, one Fidget Spinner. Why are you running Solar Winds? Just run Spikeweed sectors. Just a bunch of little dumb stuff. Again, I don't know if basing a deck on Mirror Nut is good. It happens if Mirror Nut is an 08, just for the Buchanolith is fine. There's no way to buff the health of your guys, so it's a great responsibility. It would be really important. You're running Doom Shroom, Smack, little finishers. Again, this deck doesn't have the strengths of a Buchanolith deck because you're not running Great Responsibility. It's running some other nuts, which I guess is okay. I think this deck could win a few games. It's nice having the Walnut Bowling as the finisher. Running a lot of these. I guess this gives you an extra little bit of power. It works with some of your... There's actually not much in this deck that has 0 attack, though. This deck is weird. It's definitely not as good as the other ones. Should I just give this a C or a D? Can I give your mom a D? Okay, let's put this in... Whoa. Let's put this in C. See what I did there? Next, Popstar. Was that? No, that was fine. Alright, so this is going to be Popstar. Flowers will be blooming with the help of Pop and Poppies. Meanwhile, Briar Rose and Power Flower harness the power of flowers to wilt the zombie enemy. This actually heals you, doesn't wilt anything. But anyway, alright, so you got some decent cards here. Gravebuster, Hot Date's not bad. You're running one random heal. Okay, I'll forgive you because it's just one. And you got Pear Cub, which is a good card. Solar Winds is okay in this deck because you are ramping to flowers. You do have some finishers. I like it. You have a little bit of heal combo. No little buddies, but again, this is probably before the little buddy era. You're running Briar Rose at 5. Pop and Poppies. This is a really sweet combo. I don't know if this deck's going to have enough power. The only things I do power, one copy of Walnut Bowling. You have 2 Power Flowers, which almost in this deck I would be running more just because you need some face value. You're running Galacta, Pair Combo, you can get a little bit with that. Again, if you happen to get one of your 2 Venus Flytrap planets, which is not a lot, you could probably get a little bit of power in with your Heartichoke. It's not super reliable. This deck is actually built well, but it's missing the main thing a deck needs, which is a solid win condition. The 1 Walnut Bowling is not going to cut it, and the 2 Venus Flytrap planet combo is not going to cut it. This deck is really not... This deck is going to last a long time and control opponents really well. And if you can somehow make them deck out, like, or just run out of cards in their hands, that would be the only way you're going to win. Otherwise, this deck is just not going to win you games. This is actually a really, really bad deck because there's no win condition. This is not going in B. Because of the complete and utter lack of win condition in this deck, I'm almost going to put this in D. This is really, really... Again, you can have the most amazing deck with all the synergy, and you have no way to win. You can't rush them down aggro too. There's not enough 1s and 2s. I'm actually putting this in D, and I could have put it in C. This is really more to make a point, though. This deck just does not have a way to win. 1 Walnut Bowling, it's just not going to do it. Stall them to death. That's just the horrible, horrible way of playing PvP heroes. Next, Guardian Nut. Your opponent will go nutty trying to beat this uncrackable deck. I'm cringing so hard. Hide behind your bodyguard until you can strike back with Walnut Bowling. So how many Walnut Bowlings are you running? 1. What is the win condition of this deck? So this is going to be it's not even a nut deck. This is a control deck. A poor attempt at one. You're running Cosmic Nut. There's some good cards here. Bodyguard's fine. Squash is okay. Shamrock, Kick. But there's no win condition. You're controlling for years, and the thing that's going to do the most damage is your 3 copies of Guacadile, guaranteed. There's no way to win. Unless you can set up minions in the amphibious lane and just, like, slowly just... You're not going to be able to win with this dumb freaking deck. This is so bad. A control deck that goes nowhere. I'm sorry. You're going in F tier. Horrible. Horrible, horrible, horrible. Right to the cremation station. It is missing the most important thing in a deck, and that is a win condition. Alright, here's Blockbusting. This almost looks like an aggro Grass Knuckles. Cosmic Flower and Steel Magnolia are small, but give special effects when played. Once you've gotten those effects, evolve those small plants into big evolutions like Blockbuster and Elderberry. Meaning you draw a card or you add some health and then you hit him with the evolution. It's not a bad evolution strategy. You don't have enough 1s. Like, I feel like Haunted Pumpkin would just... Why does this deck have Dope Mine in it? Boomer Mine. Even this would be excusable if you would have a decent 1. These 3 suck. No, you can't play this as aggro. You have a few finishers. This is so close to being a really decent aggro Walnut deck. There's just a couple of things that you can't actually with Just Forget-Me-Nuts play, and Just Forget-Me-Nuts and Triceratops play aggro. I think and there's there's not enough removal either. You don't have like Strike Through. I guess you have Strike Through as finishers. This isn't a horrible. I don't even know where to put this. Because this deck is definitely going to win more than the last one, I'm going to put this in C. There's just so much dumb... This deck is like, great idea, but it sucks. It really sucks. I'll put it in C. Anyway. That was the red deck. Alright, I'm happy that a red deck went into C tier. That's fine. Next is Berserk Moving Day. Is this going to be moving synergy? Position your plants to do the most damage possible. Use Hot Data and Grab a Tree to pull enemies into your Spikeweed sector and clear the way for anti-hero attacks. You're going with a little bit of aggro here. Then you got Gardening Gloves, Spikeweed, little aggro. There's not enough power in this deck to win games. 2 Kernel Corns? I feel like a couple more would have. Oh, you got a little Guacadales for the water lane. It's not bad. Oh, this is not a good idea, guys. This lineup of ones is so poor. Like, go with Forget-Me-Nots and Blooming Heart or something good. There's such better options in this game. Damn, I feel like for a budget player, this could probably work in terms of aggro. Is there any big removal? There's no big removal. Like, you're not going to be able to really hit face enough with these cards. Like, why is Poison Ivy? If it's Poison Ivy into, I guess, into Hot Date. This isn't good. This isn't a good deck. This is going in D. This is just a mess. I feel like this could probably win some games, but not a lot. Really not a lot. Pine Clone Wars. They have a Pine Clone deck? Easy S tier. We'll see how this is. Alright. You got your ones. There's no Puff Shrooms, but I think this again was before Puff Shrooms were created. You got 4 Pine Clones, 4 Molekales. Got Little Buddy. Got some Doom Shroom. Ooh, you got Molekale with your Raiding Raptors. This deck looks fine. The only stupid card is this one right over here. This isn't even that. Berry Angry is not even that bad with Pine Clone. You know, you can really end up doing a lot of damage. This deck looks decent. The big removal is 2 Doom Shrooms, which I think is fine. The Poppin' Poppies isn't great, but it's fine. You can play Poppin' Poppies. Usually the little buddies aren't surviving that turn, but usually they're just dying. That's how you play Poppin' Poppies. But I guess technically 1 or 2 can turn into Pine Clones. It's not really a good combo. Pull a bait and switch. Not a bait and switch. But anyway, you have a little finishers. This deck isn't bad. I don't know if I can put this quite in A. I'm gonna put this in B though, because this is actually a pretty solid deck. This is definitely not an A tier deck. A tier means it's made really well, but it's just not a top tier deck in this game. I don't know if any of these are gonna go into S. Hopefully we'll find an S tier at some point. That's not a guys, this is not an A tier deck. This deck has too much dumb stuff in it. There's no removal. I mean, you just have Doom Shroom. And Garlic. For a strategy deck, it's A tier. This probably is the best strategy deck so far. Fine, I'll put an A. You guys are so good at persuading me. Very powerful. See, there was a day where this was a really good deck. Shelf Room was the only dumb card in this. It's the Berry Logan. No one cares. You know, back when Berry decks were good, this would have been amazing. There's a few dumb stuff in here, but 4 Grapes of Wrath, it's a little slow. This deck right now, though, is pretty well made for a Berry deck. Again, I'm not necessarily going to be running all the Ragnaros and Cherry Bombs, but it's fine. Really not bad. Really not bad. Again, back when berries were better, this was way better. This was made when berries were better. This is not bad, actually. I feel like this one is better, is probably about the same good as the Pine Clone Wars deck. Meaning it's not going to perform well. I would say it's probably going to win fewer games because berries are worse, but this deck is actually made better. So I'm going to give it a few extra points in terms of just how well it is made. I would run some Shamrock instead of the Cherry Bombs, but that's fine. This really is not... There's nothing in this deck that's just, like, god-awful. Even the Shelf Gems, it's okay, you know what I mean? Alright. That's fine. That's, again, it's more than being better. It's just a well-made deck for what they were trying to do with it. So we get a little extra points. Next. Your opponent will run for the hills when your Galactic Cactus wakes up your Hibernating Berry and Pericup. So we're running a Splash Synergy. Love that. Ooh, we got the 4 Reincarnations. A little bit of buff. You got also have like Juggernaut. Okay, so there's like a couple dumb things in this deck, like Prickly Pear. Dandelion King. Ooh. Why is Dandelion King in this deck? Shamrocket. Why is Cosmic? See, I feel like this deck was amazing until you hit row 3. Like, everything here is fine. You can even really justify Juggernaut. Triceratops is better, but this is fine. All of these cards are, what are these doing? You're running 4 copies of Lava Guava? Run Fireweed, my man. Like, why is Bodyguard in this deck? Like, you need some finishers. Put in some more removal. Put in some higher hitters. Even some Guacodiles. Even just some, I don't even know. It was going so well, but it really took a no. And if you're doing all this early game damage, why do you have Dandelion King? Why? There's so much dumb stuff in this deck. I'm putting this in C. It was so good, yeah, it's so bad. I think this deck can win a decent amount of games if you get the right starting hand and you get good pulls from your reincarnation, but the whole late game of this deck is just ain't nothing but a mistake, and for horrible deck building skills, we're giving that C. Is it a pyramid? Look, look, it's a pyramid. You guys are such nerds. We have to put one in S tier. So if this next one is S tier, we'll have the full pyramid. And well, it's really good that we're coming up to the red spit out deck, because this is going to be amazing. All right, Paradise and Imitator let you double up valuable plants, while Transfiguration and Pecanolith make your low-cost plants into powerful ones. So your low-cost plants that can turn into powerful ones are these two copies of Garlic and 2 copies of Hibernating Berry. Oh, and you got 3 copies of How are we running? So you're running your Pecanolith without great responsibility. You're running some Splash. Finally decided to put Fireweed in this deck. You're running, it's like built around mine, but there's only one. You're running 4 you're running 10 environments in this deck. 11 actually. And then your finishers are just this looks like a more of an RNGesus, almost similar to like an RNGesus Splash Spit Out deck, which is fun. There's just a lot of dumb stuff happening. Where's Molekale? These finishers. It's not bad, actually. This deck really isn't that bad. There's just too many environments. Way too many environments in this deck. These hot lavas are not good. Spamming the Illuminati period. Sorry, guys. This is not going to S tier. I think because they have a pretty fun strategy built in this deck, I think it could probably win a decent amount of games. It's going to need a little bit of luck. Pecanolith. Got Fig. I don't know. I'm just putting this one in C. Guys, now it's a finger. Now I'm giving you guys a sideways finger. That's what I meant. Yeah, guys. The pyramid is still possibly going to be alive. We'll see if this really curves out here. And you know the decks would have like a bell curve. We're getting all fancy now. Alright, next. This is going to be called Bullseye Beatdown. Whoa. Grow your bullseye plants like Juggernaut Cactus, Stingbean. Okay, so you're running Cactus, okay, these are fine. Cactus sucks. You should run to do it. This is before Triceratops. I'm always saying, why is there no Triceratops? Because these were all made before Triceratops existed. So it's also made when Lily was a better card. This deck is not bad. You got the 3 bonus attacks. You got your B-Rexes. You know, back when Lily was a decent card, this was fine. This was really fun. I'm going to give this some deck building points based on the fact that it was made when Lily Grosheim was actually a good idea. Got a couple banana peels. You have no environments in this deck, which is very odd. Like, get rid of the banana peels and the fertilizers and put in some spikeweed sectors up in here. Come on, man. So there's that stupid thing. Bodyguard is just so random. Like, why? Which of your superpowers do you need? You're looking for time to shine from Bodyguard? Like, put another finisher. I don't know. This is not a... Well, this is not a bad deck. This is really not a bad deck. I think because of the proper plant food, the very good curve, the only thing that's really missing is environments, but maybe you can get away in an aggro deck with no environments. You can. You just have such a good one in Spikeweed Sector. You got a couple in the late game is just this Bodyguard. This and the lack of Spikeweed Sector and the banana peel are kind of more fertilized. I kind of want to put this in A. I think for a strategy deck, this is an A, even though there's a lot of dumb stuff in here. But at the end of the day, you could win a lot of games with this deck. Like, a lot. Even fertilize on the Stingbean and the Water Lane's not a horrible idea. I think this is pretty good. Grosheim S tier. What the hell? Alright, next. Next! What else is going on over here? What else we got? Next is going to be massive damage! No, it's a Grass Knuckles Repeat Moss deck. Play your tricks right, and Repeat Moss will repeatedly attack the zombies for massive damage. Get in on the bonus attack action with Banana Rex and Party Time, and refill your hand at the same time. So this is not a very good strategy because you need Party Time and Bananasaurus Rex to survive on the field on turn 4 or 5, which usually doesn't happen. It's very, very unreliable card draw. So running a little bit of this, running 4 onion rings. I would almost rather play this as an onion ring, like control. There should be fewer banana peels and more bonk joys. Fewer photosynthesizers and more bonk joys. Oh, you're running double mint in this deck. Dumb stuff. I think you could probably stall, hit him with the onion rings. Or you can have an aggro option. If there were more bonk joys and fewer stupid cards in this deck, this would actually have a really high tier. You're also finally running 3 plant food. Thank you for learning. I don't know why there's a banana peel in this deck. It's really weird. Paracub. This deck is decent. This deck is really decent, though. It almost is an aggro. Well, it's a tempo. No, there's no aggro. It's. I guess you can play tempo and start on turn 2s. No, you don't have any 3s, though. You have this. It's B. It's just B. Pyramid's still going strong. Doubleman's super random. Alright, play Poppin' Poppies and Banana Splits to really pump up your muscle sprouts. Banana Split Muscle Sprout Synergy. Wow, that's what it's come to. Things get wild when you buff your Doublemint, Paracubs. And you buff your Paracubs? Even Potato Mines with Onion Rings. Oh, that's true, because the 4 starts as a 4/4. So, you're stalling for time. You have Lily of the Valley into nothing, but I guess Lily used to be good. You're running Starch Lord. You're running like Onion Rings and then like a lot of late game Soul Patch. I don't understand. Why are there beats in this deck to capitalize on the poppies? Such a bad idea. You're running Onion Rings and only 6 1-drops. Just the description of what this deck was trying to do is just such a god-awful idea. I don't think this is a very good Onion Rings deck. There's no bonus attacks. This deck sucks. This deck really sucks. This is going in D. This deck is more like dick. Okay, keep it going. Cosmic something. Cosmic Conjuring. Oh, here we go. Flood the field, lots of low-cost cards. You're only running 7 1s, but it's fine. And keep your hand constantly topped up by conjuring cards. With all of this extra draw, Bananasaurus Rex becomes downright deadly. So you're running 4 cucumbers into 4 lilies. Again, Lily used to be better. Into 4 B-Rexes. The Starch Lord cucumber combo, it's not horrible. This is not horrible. There's no bonus attacks, though. How are you going to win? There's 1 environment. There's just random, like 1 Cosmic P, 1... What? There's just so much dumb stuff. Every deck has to have banana peel in it. At least 1 copy. It's just how it works. I know there's a little synergy. There are some good cards in this deck. I feel like when Lily was better, this deck would actually be decent. There's no bonus attacks. Can't give this even a high ranking. Because of the fact there's no actual win condition, we're putting this in D, I think. Give that man some bonus attack. I guess Captain Cucumber can actually conjure you win conditions, though. It's not super reliable, but it's possible. Fine, I'll put in C. You're right. You're right. Next. Leave my dinos alone. Oh no, we got Leafy Synergy, okay? So you're going for your Leafy. Leafy plants like typical Beanstalk and Savage Spiach work together well. Their growth in size fuels Potted Powerhouse. Typical Beanstalk doesn't grow in size. I don't know if this card changed or what. While their card drawing pumps up the 3 kinds of dinosaur plants. So you got 1 of these 4. Ooh, we got some decent cards in this deck. You got Shamrock. You have 1 bonus attack. Alright, so this is a huge problem so far. It's Doublemint. It's just dumb stuff in here. So it's a Leafy Savage Spinach / finish off your opponent in the late game with your 1 bonus attack deck. And then you have Potted Powers. Look at how much late game is in this deck, though. With no bonus attacks to capitalize on, though. One double. So if you get rid of these, get rid of those, you have a little control. It definitely needs more win conditions, that's for sure. This deck. It has Triceratops. You're almost just like if you get this one copy of Plant Food, you win, and if not, then you lose. I'll put this in C. It's just meh. Do not have COVID-19. Shut up, guys. Wow, we're up to Rose already. This is going faster than I thought it would. Power to the flowers. Communist Russia. Watch your game blossom with the Flower Pact strategy deck. Artist, I don't even know what that means. Okay, so we have flowers, a little bit of ramp. You have 2 types of 5 drops, so it justifies these. These cards are just dumb. It's just like you're running a flower deck, so you're just throwing every flower possible. Really bad idea. The big removal is your Briar Rose, so I guess that works. A little mid-range, a little bit of ramp, a little bit of love. Ooh, and you got some dragons and cornucopia finisher. Not good. This is a good finisher. You got a little ramp. Are you able to control early game, late game? You know, this will give you some card draw. It's just not a very good card. This can also control the amphibious lane, so can the hammer. This deck's actually not that bad. This deck should definitely have 4 dragons in it. Because essentially it's just a control ramp deck. So get rid of the well, the cornucopia is fine. You know what? We'll count that as a late game card. Really just need a 4th late game. So get rid of, well, this can sometimes give you. Mayflower does conjure pretty expensive cards typically. This deck's really not bad. There's just some dumb stuff in it. It's not really strong enough late game. I'll give it a solid B. Alright. Cool deck, bro. Oh my gosh, someone kill me. Now what do we got? The strategy deck is all about cold and control. Snowdrop, Winter Squash, and Cool Bean. Put the chill on zombies. So running some freeze, got some freeze. Nope, snow peas, which is nice. I don't know, every deck has Mayflower in it, but that whatever. So then you got Wingnut, Solar. Why is Solar Winds in this deck? It's fine. I think it's used to cost 2, so it's okay. Squash. Ooh, you got all your freeze cards up in here. Ooh, deck doesn't look too bad. I would just put more dragons as finishers. 3-headed Chomper works. I mean, you could win games with this deck. You could have won a decent amount of games. Really not a bad deck here. I would get rid of the tacos and add in 3 more dragons. But other than that, this is a really solid freeze deck. They really dodged a lot of the big mistakes freeze players make when they, you know, freeze deck builders. I'm gonna put this in A. I think this is actually a really well-made deck for what it's trying to do. All right. Control Freak. Take control as you pick off the zombies one by one. Thank you so much, Sonic Fan, for subscribing. Really appreciate it. How many months is that? 4 months. For Sonic Fan. I'm gonna wipe the field with Tactical Cuke. It's built around 2. Okay. First of all, this deck is on 6 lines. It's on 5 lines. All right. Are these good control cards? This is not a good control card. You are. There's so much in the early game. Rose has early game control, not really. You have a little ramp. Okay, here's some early game control. Here's some field clear because you're gonna need it. You got your wing nuts. You got a little more control. A little more control. And a decent amount of finishers. Again, this you don't really need Astro Bears. You're running more dragons. Again, for what they're trying to do, this deck is a hot mess, but it's not that bad because you actually have decent control on every level of the game. You could use a little more early game, I think. The finishers, again, are not the premium finishers. You need 4 dragons and get rid of most of this other garbage. But there are win conditions. I mean, you can win with Cornucopia and Great Zucchini. You gotta get a little lucky. This is almost like having 4 dragons. This really is not that bad. I'll put this in B. And next. What's the next one? The next one. Environmental protection. Ample protections here. This is an environment deck. Ample environments here. Keep your health and hand topped off while getting Leaf Blower to give you the, oh my gosh, seal the deal with shooting Starfruit. Shooting Starfruit as a win condition in row sucks because it's a 2-2. It's so easy to remove on turn 5. Anyway, you got, what kind of deck is that? Oh my gosh, you're running 8 environments? Ample, huh? This is not good. The 8 environments I'm taking off points. Why are you running Planet of the Grapes in this deck? For your Sporticus? Oh my gosh, why are you running Heal? Okay. You do have bad finishers, but you have like 6 good ones. So that's fine. This deck is really sad. Yeah, Leaf Blower is not a good card. Just run Jumping Bingos. Cosmic Flower out of nowhere. I'm sure you could win a few games with this deck if you get the right hand, but this is not a good hand. The whole deck is built around a finisher with shooting Starfruit, which is not a good idea. Oh, man. Man, there's 8 environments. I'm putting this in D. There's just too much really dumb stuff. Alright, next. Cobb Cannonade. Hey, the little buddy, because they're Triassic or whatever. Is this Colossal? Triassic. Cobb Cannon has always been the ultimate corn-based battle station. All you need is some cheap team-up plants to play it on, like Shellery, Colonel Pult, and Laser Cattail. No, those are not the right ones. Okay. Cover a 2-cost card. So you're running Clap. So your Cobb Cannon is your win condition? Oh, it's a team-up deck with Go Nuts. Oh, that's not bad. They didn't even mention the Go Nuts in here. So you can start off, you basically stall the first couple of turns. Hit them with the Go Nut combo. Or with one of these. And then you just keep them off the field tempo-wise and finish them off with the Cobb Cannon. It's not a good idea, but it's not horrible. This isn't bad. This one's just going in C. It's just overall meh, but it's fine, and I think this could win a few games. Alright guys, that was part 1 of the Plants strategy deck. It actually took faster than I thought, so I'm probably, next time, I'm going to do the next 6 heroes. It'll be a little bit longer, that'll be the rest of the plants, and maybe then I'll do the zombies all in one shot. I guess so. But that was the, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys have any more creative ideas for tier lists, always let me know in the comment section below. But for now, that is all. Peace. This is Fry.